The Queenbreaker is an exotic linear fusion rifle returning from Destiny 1, albeit with a minor change in utility compared to its D1 counterpart. Now let's take a look at its weapon perks. Wire Rifle fires a long-range precision arc bolt that blinds enemies on hit. Marksman Sights, long-range sights with slower charge time and greater damage, displays ammo and charge levels. Combat Sights, low zoom sights with faster charge time and handling, displays ability energy. Enhanced Battery, for an increased magazine size. Hipfire Grip, for more accuracy and stability when firing from the hip. Quick Draw, it's pretty self-explanatory. And Fitted Stock. This stock makes the weapon stable but heavy, and increases stability, moderately controls recoil, and slightly decreases handling speed. Now, one of the key highlights of this weapon are the sights, Marksman and Combat. Marksman sights gives you a charge time of 633, and Combat sights give you a charge time of 300, which is super fast. Now, the Marksman sights does deal more damage. Of course, it technically won't one-hit body shot in PvP, but its aim assistance is pretty strong, so you may get lucky. You still need a precision shot in order to get the one-shot kill though. Now, Marksman is pretty much the one I use strictly for PvE. Now, the Combat sights deal less damage, but the trade-off here is the speed. Now, it's still a one-shot kill to the head, but you need to get a feel for the sights first. Now, of course, the sights are a total personal preference. I know a lot of people that like to run Marksman and Gambit in PvP, but personally for me, the Combat sights is where I'm more comfortable using. Now, let's take a look at the aim assist for the Queenbreaker. On Destiny Tracker, you can see that the aim assist of the weapon is 66, but it honestly feels like it's over 9,000. Now let's take a look at some of the following clips and reactions as I was testing the range of the aim assist. Aiming above your shoulder and between your head. Wow. There I have the reticle like above your head. Wow, dude. That's so dumb.
What you have?
Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
I mean, the radar went away, but
Yeah.
no fucking way, dude.
Right?
All right, get off your chair. Fucking shit, dude. Let me show you how far away I was aiming there.
Okay. Needless to say, I think the aim assist on the weapon may be a little too high. Now, I know it's supposed to be an exotic, and while it certainly covers all of the grounds of what an exotic should be and feel like, the fact that the hitbox is so incredibly high with both scopes is in fact a little ridiculous. Now let's talk where this weapon shines the most, Gambit. If you thought Sleeper Simulant was an issue, once more people get their hands on the Queenbreaker, the nerf bells are going to ring loud. Now, one of the reasons Queenbreaker excels so much in Gambit, aside from its extremely generous aim assist, is the fact that most Gambit maps are ideal for the range that the Queenbreaker is meant for. So it's pretty easy to pick off somebody, especially if you use the combat sights, because the charge time is basically only half a second, and most invading spawn locations in Gambit give you a pretty visible line of sight, and that makes it easy to pick off targets one by one. Now, in its current state, it's rather difficult to go toe-to-toe with the Queenbreaker. You'd need to get the drop on where the enemy invades and shoot them as fast as possible, because the flinch will knock off the invader's aim pretty harshly. If you are using a Queenbreaker in Gambit, I recommend having armor that increases your ammo reserves and reduces flinching. I gotta be able to give advice to both users and people on the receiving side, of course. Just make sure to learn where the spawn locations are in each map so you can get a feel if somebody's gonna come on in and spawn in with a Queenbreaker, so you know where to aim and what to be expecting, basically. In PvP, a lot of what I talked about before remains true. Queenbreaker is a strong heavy, with a minor learning curve, of course. Feel what sight works best for you and have fun with it. As far as quick draw or hipfire, personally I use hipfire. Now, there are instances where I get rushed by someone with a shotgun and my instinct is to shoot in melee. But again, it's one of those of where it depends how you want to play. Now, quick draw is definitely a solid perk to have on, but I typically don't intend on changing weapons until I run out of heavy ammo. The blinding perk that it has also has an effect in PvP, but it's on the minimalistic side. It's not as bad as a Titan flashbang, so don't rely on people being completely blind when you hit them in the body shot with the Queenbreaker. Now in terms of numbers, the Marksman's sight will do around 451 precision damage, and the combat sights will do around 326. Ammo wise, you get 5 shots with a heavy brick, 18 total mags, and if you do have armor with linear fusion reserves, you will get 19. Now for PvE, I found that the Queenbreaker to be pretty useful in utility over damage. As I mentioned beforehand, I run the Marksman scope in PvE for the increased damage, but the blinding effect in PvE is much more helpful. It helps a lot with majors in terms of control. Eyes of Riven being pesky and spamming that blinding wave, shoot him with a shot at the Queenbreaker and watch him get stunned and block his eyes. Same thing with ogres and such. Now of course, not a lot of people are going to use this for boss battle damage phases. For example, most people tend to use Aikilos for Morgoth, and I do as well. But I actually have my Queenbreaker to stop Vandals and Eyes of Riven from being annoying. Taking this into strike with Arc Singe and Heavyweight is also incredibly fun, and each kill feels pretty rewarding, as, you know, using this in public events, patrols and stuff like that. The Queenbreaker is such an incredible versatile exotic. I recommend playing around with it if you do have it. Now all in all, the Queenbreaker is an incredibly powerful, super useful, and versatile exotic. It has a place in every game mode, whether you choose its PvE, Gambit, or PvP. I do feel like eventually we are going to see a nerf to the aim assist once more people have it, and once more people are using it in Gambit, and it ultimately I feel like it's going to become the meta of invasion in Gambit. But we're going to have to wait and see what Bungie's response will be. Personally, I wouldn't mind the aim assist toned down just a little bit so other heavy weapons can contest with it. But that's going to be all for me today, Guardians. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.